Good morning, folks. This is your host, James Float, for another podcast of course, talk about the universe. This is the show, The Universe of Love by James. Today we are going to be talking about two topics. The first one that I chose today would be about time travel. We're going to talk about the concepts of time travel today. And then we're going to go to another topic, and we're going to talk about the topic of UFOs and alien beings. Today, on that topic, we are going to be talking about alien beings and how we can contact them, and what kind there are, and so forth, if there are time. First, before we get to our first podcast of the day, let's do our prayer today. Today's prayer is on the ascension into the fifth dimension. If you are going into your fifth dimension, this is definitely a good prayer for you today. So here's the prayer, my ascension to the fifth dimension. I am fully, freely, and willingly accepting today the awakening of the fifth dimension. I know and trust that by fully being in the fifth dimension, I will witness miracles today. My heart is open and ready to receive the love and intimacy of God consciousness. When fully trusting God in the fifth dimension, I can hear and feel and have a shift, and everything in my life is easy and abundant. Through the divine, my gifts are fully awakened today in the fifth dimension. I am healed in the fifth dimension. I feel amazing in the fifth dimension. I love being in the fifth dimension. I feel peace, love, and joy in the fifth dimension. I am trusting that the negative third dimensional mind chatter is quickly overcome by the fifth dimension. My mind is automatically focused on the present moment with no effort required. My mind is simply a state of being. I automatically live in the fifth dimension. My heart is open to the fifth dimension. I am a child of God. And that was our prayer for today. So let's get to our topic today on time travel and the concept of it and time. So time and time travel, big topic. Everyone always wants to talk about it. Is there time travel? Is there not? Well, in a way there is, and in a way that most people think it is, it's really not. So I'm going to explain here the concepts of time travel, the analogy, and so forth, and explain it in the best way that I can. So for time, there is only one moment in all creation, and that is the eternal now. Time is just an illusion created by our consciousness. You see, this analogy will clarify here. In a film projector, the individual frames of the film are shown in a rapid steady sequence. Okay? So one frame at a time, this rapid steady sequence of still frames creates an illusion of flowing time, but in truth, all the actual frames that are used all exist simultaneously. So there is the illusion of time only when the film projector displays those frames, one frame at a time. In a rapid steady sequence, yet all those frames exist simultaneously. In fact, the projectionist can take out the roll of film, spread it out on the floor, and view all those frames at the same time. In a similar manner, our consciousness projects individual still frames of reality in a steady and extremely rapid sequence. We do this billions of times per second, thus creating the illusion of the steady flow of time. Each of these individual still frames reality contains absolutely no motion whatsoever. It is a frozen snapshot, perfectly still, and yet by sequencing these still frames at a steady and very fast rate, we have the illusion of time, the flow of time. Now note, the actual flash rate or frame rate for the physical dimension that we are experiencing is an extremely tiny increment of time. Our earthly consciousness functions like the film projector, which views these still frames only in a rapid, steady sequence. Our higher self functions like the film projectionist, who could take out the roll of film and view all the frames simultaneously. Our higher self functions in the timeless, eternal now zone. Therefore, all time is truly now. Your past lives are occurring right now. Your future lives are occurring right now. All time periods are coexisting right now. The concept of reincarnation is not quite as accurate as simultaneous multiple incarnations. Normally, the reality frames that we view in rapid sequence are related and similar, hence the illusion of continuity. And as we get to continuity is an illusion. Continuity is an illusion since one is not obligated to go from one frame to another frame that is almost the same, or in other words, the normal flow of time. It is possible to hop to a totally different frame in this infinite universe, and this would be what is normally referred to as time travel. Now, I know a lot of people talk about how there's a paradox in time travel, but you know what? There is no paradox in time travel. Time travel is safe. It's easy. Anyone can do it, and I'll explain why later. But there is no paradox in time travel. There is no paradox in time travel. The classic grandfather paradox. We all know the grandfather paradox. The grandfather paradox of time travel is not really a paradox at all. The classic paradox basically states, if you time travel to the time of your grandfather and then kill him before he has any children, then your father could not have been born. Then you also could not have been born. So if you were never born, how could you go back in time to kill your damn grandfather? See what I mean? So here's the solution. Okay? There are infinite number of timelines, all simultaneously coexisting, parallel but distinct time tracks or flows of time events. Every time you time travel, in the classic sense, to the past or the future, you are hopping over to a different timeline. Not the one that you have been living in. So anything you do in that timeline is part of the natural history of that timeline. But there is no change whatsoever in your originating timeline. This different timeline may appear to be practically identical to your own past or future, but it is in fact a totally different timeline. Hence, no paradox. And that's why there is no paradox in time travel. Time travel is safe. Okay, time is 3:33 here in the Pacific. 7:33 in Nova Scotia. And of course, 333, we'll talk about that angel syncrasy number soon. That number has been popping up lately, and we will have a topic on that as well sometime in the week as well. So, now that we talked about the time and everything, let's talk about the actual belief, or what you think you believe. Because all this talk always tries to make people think if they believe it or not. And, well, that's a big topic. So, how can you distinguish between what you think you believe and what you actually believe? Well, it's quite simple. Your actions always indicate that what you actually believe, always, while your actions reveal what you are actually believing. External reality equals a holographic illusion. Alright, so our perceived external reality is actually an illusion, a holographic illusion that is reflecting like a mirror back to us our beliefs, thoughts, and feelings. And like a mirror, when you change your internal beliefs, thoughts, and feelings, the external reflection changes accordingly. A mirror does not have a mind of its own. It can only reflect back whatever is in front of it, whatever are your beliefs, thoughts, and feeling. How is all this occurring? It is your higher mind that is functioning as a holographic mirror. Get the point? So to create a holographic bubble around you, that is your perceived external reality. Okay? Visualization. The recommended way to use visualization is to get some preferred reality, which is 1. Visualize the preferred reality within your visualization intently. 2. This gets you into an excited state from imagining you already have it. And then 3. Then totally drop. I repeat, drop that visualization and absolutely do not insist that it manifests in that particular form. 4. Your higher self then tunes into your excited state and your desire, and then begins working on getting for you a way better outcome than anything you could have ever imagined. Note, by hanging on to your visualization and insisting that the outcomes be in that form, you are limiting the optimum outcome and preventing your higher self from bringing you an outcome that is far superior to anything that you could have ever imagined or thought of, and it can bring it to you an easier and faster way than the particular outcome you were insisting on. And that would do it for this podcast for topic number 1. We have a few minutes left and we're going to go to break. And then when we come back, we will have topic number 2.